Just imagine this for a moment. You're lying in bed. You're fast asleep. Your kid's in the room next door. The missus is snoring like she normally does because she's sleeping on her back. And then there's a loud thud at the door and you wonder what the hell it is. It's not a normal knock, no. It's ICE. Immigration control, and they're ramming your front door, smashing it in, and they come in and drag you out of your bed with little or no explanation and disappear you. The kids are crying and they're wondering what's going on. The wife is crying, she's wondering what's going on. You've been living in the United States for 30 odd years or more, you know. All this, it don't matter, you know. Not to this regime, no. And then the next thing you know, you're having your hair shaved off. You having to stand there in chains from your ankles to your wrists, like a chain gang, and then being pushed into some aircraft to El Salvador. Been processed and then placed in a cell, an overcrowded cell, with hundreds of other inmates in these cells, all on bunks, like Auschwitz. Just imagine that for a moment. Just imagine how you would feel, how scared and frightened you would be. You don't understand why you're there. You're a US citizen or you've got a green card. Maybe just a visa, I don't know, whatever. But you're a legal citizen. And you get carted off. And treated like a criminal. When you know for well you've done nothing wrong. Still, the families at home trying to find out what's going on. They don't know. They've got lawyers involved and stuff like that if they can afford it. Got some sort of representation if they can afford it. And then you hear by the White House regime, oh, I think we made a mistake. But don't worry, we can't do nothing about it. It's no longer our jurisdiction, no. They're not just going to give it back. They're not going to give them back, no. Such as Garcia, who was taken. And they made a mistake. And they admit it. But they're going to do nothing about it. They don't care. But why don't they care? It's all about the money, honey. And it is. This immigration shenanigans is all about keeping the stock values up of the actual company, the corporation that is doing the exploitation, the trafficking of humans to El Salvador. They're all in cahoots with El Salvador and the prisons. They have to keep the stock price up, which means they've got quotas. They've got to meet their quotas, and if they're underperforming, there was a run out of illegals, we're going to find any bucket now. Well, first, they came for the Venezuelans. And I'm not a Venezuelan, so I did not speak out. And then they came for the green card holders. I did not speak out because I have not got a green card. No. I'm an American citizen. Well, actually, I'm a Brit, but there you go. And then they came for the dissident press. Those who did speak out. And I said nothing. Because I'm not the press. And then they came for my fellow Americans. And I did not speak out. And then they came for me. And there was nobody to speak for me. That's how it feels like to me. It just feels like ordinary folk. Not feels like it's exactly what's going to happen. Are going to find themselves in very, a risky position if you speak out against the Trump regime. This is rule by fear. It's a tyranny. Now, yesterday morning, I had one comment on one of my videos, which I do thank everybody who'd made the comments. I do read them. I can't obviously reply to them all, but I do read them. And one commenter said, we're frightened to speak. We feel that we can no longer speak out. Whether or not you're an American citizen or not, you can't speak out. You see, there's no due process. People are being disappeared, never to be seen again. Ended up in this Auschwitz in El Salvador. The El Salvadorian Auschwitz, you could say. It's frightening. It's frightening. It really is. I just can't imagine. I live in France, right? I'm a British citizen living in France. And although there have been times post-Brexit, we were worried, you know? We were worried. But nothing like this. We didn't know what our situation would be regarding our immigration status. Yes, I'm a migrant, effectively. You call me an economic migrant if you like. You know, I work here. I don't care. I'm not an expat. That's bollocks. I'm a migrant. I'm happy to be a migrant. I'm happy to pay my taxes. I'm happy to pay my way. Like those people in the United States who are legal citizens in the United States, contributing into the taxes, or even so-called illegals pay more taxes than many Americans. You know? Even they got themselves registered, even though they probably shouldn't be registered, but they're still paying taxes because they've got a job. Paying several billion a year, you know. Billions are paid by so-called illegals. Yet they get no benefit. Just like the citizens in the United Kingdom who come over on visas, they can't claim benefits. All the stuff you've been told is all bollocks. They lie. It's the right-wing press again. They lying to you, just like Donald Trump's been doing for a very long time. He's been lying, spouting. More and more lies, layers and layers and layers of lies. The occasional truth to disguise the lies. It's painful to see. Asylum seekers, for instance, such as Kilmer Abrego, you know, he's isn't going through the asylum process, and now some of these people are shipped back to the places that they fled from. You know, it's just there is not that many Venezuelan gang members. See, what they're doing is they're dehumanising people during the processing stages, make you all look like flippin' gang members by shaving your heads and making you having to wear just shorts so people could see your tattoos. Even though it's a pride tattoo or an autism tattoo. And using these as excuses as some kind of gang tag. They're not guilty. They're innocents. And this has all been done not just to do this, just satisfying the American people's wish, immigration. It's money. Huge amounts of money are being paid by the American citizens, the taxpayers, to effectively fund the trafficking of these human beings. Now remember, everyone, whether you're a criminal or not, is afforded, generally, or should be afforded, some level of due process. It was the law. You know, you had a constitution, but it feels like it's been ripped up and thrown away. Well, the first one certainly has. Freedom of speech. Well, the freedom... I'll say what basically the government must not impede on your freedom of speech. Well, that's not the case, is it? This government, this regime, because that is what it is, a regime. This is not a government. It's a dictatorship. See, they become for the gays next, they become for the trans next, they'll all end up in these flipping prisons. They'll be deported. They'll be disappeared. KKK, if you like. Mark my words, this is what's happening. I've got no doubt in my mind whatsoever. Not now. So they all end up in these flipping so-called detention centres and what have you, terrorism confinement centres, I think they're called. Basically prisons. Cages. They look like cages. No mattresses on these beds. They're not being treated like humans at all. They're cattle you treat better than this. See, once it's out of your hands, it's just down to the corporations and who actually own these companies that ship these people out as cattle. It's all about the money. Money, money, money. Follow the money and you'll see clear as day what is going on. It's all about the money. Anyway, I'd like to thank Crystal, who shared this story, or a little video clip from a lady. I can't remember her name now. I was going to mention it. I forgot, though. Anyway, Crystal, who shared it with me on Blue Sky. And I'm on Blue Sky. That I am. Find us on there, best bet yes. If you've got anything, that's probably the best place to share stuff with me. I'm most likely to see it. Some people are emailing me stuff as well. But I get so many emails, you see, so it's not all that easy to pick the way through it. But yeah, if you like to send me videos, don't send me videos that are really long, obviously, because I just don't have time. I just don't. But I'd like to thank anyone who do make the effort, because whoa, this is such an eye-opener. How quickly things have gone so wrong. It is frightening. Nobody's safe. Nobody. And if you speak out, you are going to find yourselves in a very difficult position. But I still applaud you by speak out. You have to. You need to get out. You need to make it impossible for them to fuck your country up any more than it already is. Sorry, swore, but they are. It's going to take a long time to repair this damage. A long time. If you have the guts to actually do anything about it, because I don't really know. Maybe a strike, a national strike, where you stop working, everyone stops working, threaten the government. In the end of the day, they need to fund themselves, and if you stop spending, it will collapse. Simple as that. They need funds. There'll be some sort of executive order where they just take the money straight out of your bank accounts. That will be next. Anyway, please put the little like button and maybe subscribe to the channel. And maybe the little bell icon. Oh, it's down there, isn't it? Because then you get one person in your pocket every time I upload a video. And they're not always going to be depressing ones like this, because this is frightening. I really don't know. And it kind of worries me also that it'll be followed elsewhere around the world. You know what I mean? This attitude towards human life. The United States already trying to impose rules on France, for instance. I don't know. Anyway, if you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee, and the links are down below. It's also super thanks as well, and it is very much appreciated. I'd like to thank everybody who does that already, because the channel wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Because, like anyone, we have to eat as well, and so do my dogs. They do. And medications. Oh my goody aunt, those things. Animals can be quite expensive, Anyway, it's time for me to go, so I'm going to say toodaloo, Love to the family, and keep safe. Keep safe. Toodaloo.